super fast, you want to change the oil in your generator, you're going to want gloves, because long-term exposure to petroleum products is not a healthy thing. You're going to want a funnel. This cost me $3. I typically throw them away each time. Why? Because once you've poured oil through there to fill this up, it's going to have dirt in it, it's going to have dust in it, it's going to have crud in it, and unless you take your time to clean this every single time, then the next time you go to fill it up, you're going to end up putting more junk in there. So I just buy new ones every time. I know they're clean. You're going to want paper towel so that you can put your filter down, keep it clean, and to clean up any spilled oil. You're going to want a socket wrench. The first time I tried to take this off when it was new, I darn near broke the machine. I was sure it was threaded backwards or something. It just did not want to come off. It was on there so tight. And it's just an aluminum body, but still, don't use a wrench. It doesn't get that full thread, it doesn't get that full all the way 360 torque on there. That's what you want, 360 torque. You're going to want half a cup of coffee in a Christmas mug, because that's all I could find. I love these, very simple. It just got a bit of an edge to it, so I can scoot it under. This generator is heavy. Get these cables out of the way. And then, after you have your funnel, your gloves, your socket, your oil, you're going to want to put your oil in something. I get these for $1 at the dollar store. You want something that's not going to melt on you with long-term exposure to a petroleum product again. Gasoline as an example, if you don't have a special container for it, it'll eat right through the plastic. These Betty Crocker things do a decent job. You do not want to be putting this up on your shelf somewhere, storing this, because I take this to the landfill when they have their special days for landfill products that are toxic like that. You don't want this thing eating through and leaking out all over your nice workbench. That'd be terrible. I've run this for about 10 minutes now. I should leave it for another 5 before I mess with it, but I'm a little rushed for time today, so it's hotter than it should be. I'm going to loosen the top. I wouldn't loosen the top until I knew that something was under here. You can loosen the top after you get this one bottom plug off if you want. But I'm curious to see how much, if any, oil I burn through and what it looks like before I get rid of it. And the last thing you're going to want is oil. 5W30 synthetic for me only, just because it's the full range of temperature control. I love it. Synthetic. Given how bad I am at changing this, and I try to change it every 50 hours, but I'm probably, honestly, just between you and I, I'm probably closer to 100 hours before I change the oil. Yeah, it has a bit of a... I don't know if it has a smell to it or not. I can't really tell. I want to clean the rubber gasket. I'm in a sandy environment, so I'm going to be cleaning this again before I put it in. I just want to clean it now, get most of the oil off. When I go to refill this, it's a pain in the butt. I'll show you in just a second. But having this clean and clear will be very important. Obviously, you don't want to recontaminate your system. Okay, so I think that was much better than previously. I'm going to try and keep it in the socket with the washer so that I can clean it without getting sand on it. I think that has a bit more of a burnt smell than it should. But I ran this for a good 9 hours yesterday. We had 30 degrees Celsius plus humidity plus everything else. You're like 37 Celsius. And I had to run the air conditioner. in the RV. Making sure everything aligns here. Not leaving any sand. Wow, that didn't seem like much. So the great thing about some of the newer generators, almost all of the Champion as I understand it, if the oil's too low, they won't start. So if I try to start this right now, it's not supposed to start. But I don't want to trust that switch. I want to keep checking every now and then. So the problem is overfilling. Also, the problem is, now I want to tip this a little bit. I'm going to get oil. I want to try and tip this just a little bit. Actually, there we go. I want to tip it without breaking that container underneath and spilling the oil. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. Yay, that's a good day. Make sure there's no sand on the paper towel. Clean. Clean, clean, clean. Look very closely. Never put this in your socket wrench first and then try and put it on. If you cross thread this thing, so you put it on at a wrong angle, you pooched. You're gonna have to get it either rethreaded by a pro, unless you can figure it out yourself, or just get a new machine. So it's tight. It's not like, it's snug. It's not tight. And then I try and give it about an 1/8. That's it. I'm done. I'm not gonna push it. If I look down there someday and it's leaking oil, great. The last thing I want to do is over tighten it. Yeah, I'm thinking based on previous experience, this oil is pretty dark. All right, so we dispose of it in our special container. I don't remember how to open. Here we go. For me, the big takeaway for this container is that it has a rubber gasket, which so far doesn't seem to corrode with the oil, and a lid. You need a lid. Okay. So far, this is remarkably cleaner than I usually do it. Maybe I should have waited until I was done to say anything. I'm always dripping oil somewhere. Yeah, it's darker than I should have changed it earlier, but that's always the story. Okay, so that's done. That's done. Now, gonna clear around the outside of this very delicately. Put my finger, personally, this is just the way I do it. If you have a better way of doing it, please let me know in the comments, but put my finger through there and out. I'm always pushing out so that I'm not pushing the dirt. I've seen so many guys clean around the outside of whatever, and they're just pushing dirt right into where the machine they're trying to clear it out of. Take the extra 30 seconds. Dirt is the machine killer. Okay. Making sure that's clean, that's clean. The great thing about this system right here is that the funnel is small enough that I can see into the engine case. So this says full right at the very top. Some of them may say full down here, but it's full at the very top. So I know that I have to go to the top of these threads. Here's the deal. Some people will try and go and figure out, well, how much oil is supposed to go in there. So they'll look in the manual. There's 15 minutes, right? Looking up the manual, fine. You find out how much is supposed to be in there, assuming you get the right model, assuming you got the right one. You have to factor in, did I actually get all of the oil out? Then you have to, by the time you figured out, did I get all the oil out? Do I have the right amount? Then you have to measure it somehow. Too much of a hassle for me It's much faster if I can see down to the bottom of the casing and I know full is the bottom of these threads. I'm going to stop at least, oh, what's that, half an inch or so below those threads. And then I'm going to incrementally fill it up. So much faster than trying to correct English here. You know what, I'm going to clean the top of this too. It's been sitting around for a while and I don't want to pour junk in. I have done things in the past where I've forgotten to clean the handle, especially when you're gassing stuff. And you see something fall in, and you're like, well, if only I had been a little more cautious. This is the easy part. Well, the funnel's kind of small, so I do have to take a minute. And I forgot to put a paper towel there. It doesn't take much. Well, you saw how much came out. Not a big reservoir. Which is another reason why using synthetic is a good idea. I'm not looking, oh, there we go. If this was a truck and you were really hurting for dollars, that's different. This takes a lot. This takes very little. Why can't I feel like I should be timing myself to make sure. Am I actually faster than if I went and I got the manual and or looked online, measured? I find getting measuring cups a pain in the butt. And I bought like 4 or 5 at a time at the dollar store, glass, thinking, well, I use these for oil and everything else. Yeah, I can see right by the threads now. But then for some reason, I don't know if I know they're sock elves, but are there measuring cup elves that come and take these things away? They just disappear. Okay, very close to the top now. Oh, 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 oh. Too much. Slow down. Too much. Slow down. Do not want to overfill. So what have I gone through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've gone through 7 pieces of paper towel. The good shop kind. Don't leave paper on there. Let's see where we are. It seems silly having to thread this in every single time, but that is the only way to get the proper measurement. Thread it all the way in. Actually, I thread it in, I leave it. Because sometimes the oil, if it's too thick, I found, maybe this is just in the winter time, in the summer it shouldn't be an issue, it's too thick, it takes a second. So now I can't really tell, so I'm going to push it up against the paper towel and roll it down, and you can see it's about half. It's about half. GP Outdoors, that's where I learned that trick from. GP Outdoors. If you're into tractors and nature, and a cool guy telling you about how cool tractor attachments work, go check out GP Outdoors. Hey, wait a second. Oh, I'm spilling oil from the container. Trauma. Oh, and I spilled. See, I knew. That's what happens. You get a little cocky and boom. So again, right near the top. A little OCD. And that's your oil change. It should be near the top. There's no filter on these things, which is awesome. I will be changing the spark plug later this week, and I'll be taking off the air filter on the side and just shaking out. If it's bad for some reason, which it shouldn't be, if it's spit oil or something because I overfilled it or something, that'd be different. All right, one more time. Yeah. GP Outdoor, oh, perfect. He was doing with his hydraulic fluid, that's how I learned that trick. Okay. Last time. I just like things to be, yeah, I see I can actually put in a smidge more. I'm going to put in just a smidge more because I think this was burning just a little bit the other day. So now it's technically full. It's not over full, and I just put oil again. Don't tell anybody. Okay. Voila. I feel like an environmental punk not keeping these filters, but they're just, it's just not worth it. I'm trying to clean the oil out.